Two Worlds, One Family by Dragon Translator. Chapter 29. A trader returns to port. Trader Johann is back! Hiccup paused in his drawings of Toothless and Sharpshot upon hearing Bucket's yell. It had been 3 weeks since Johann had last been in Berk. It had been a week since Palewing laid a clutch of 3 eggs. It had also been a week since the celebration his father called in honour of the new members that would soon join the tribe upon their hatching, as well as to honour Firestorm, the young nightmare that saves Sven's sheep. The day Palewing laid her eggs in Gyda's new hut, the nightmare's leg fully healed, and Gothi released him to fly again. Hiccup had been grateful Brynja and Edis agreed with him and restricted Torgir and Firestorm from flying unless all the other dragon riders were available to fly with them. Winter preparations were still a main priority, but remaining days ahead of schedule with the dragons helping. This allowed Hiccup to actually teach Torgir and Firestorm, for the riders to take him and his dragon flying for bits at a time. Hiccup still had to divide his time during each day. He aided Gobber in the smithy, as well as working on designs of his own. He trained with Edis and Astrid, and according to both, was getting proficient at sword fighting. He taught any Viking and dragon that came to the academy. He mediated issues that arose with the dragons of the nest, as well as between humans and dragons. He and his father often walked the village, with him helping his father with some chiefing duties. He even had to find time to court Astrid, though his father and her parents aided with that. At times during the day, they let just Hiccup and Astrid go flying with only their dragon chaperones as company. Some small part of Hiccup wondered why he ever wished for more than the life he had before Toothless. Then Toothless would coo, or Sharpshot would chirp, or Astrid would kiss the breath out of him, and Hiccup would squash that feeling. Hiccup smiled, hearing the rest of the tribe shuffling about as they readied for the trader to make port. He reached over, tipping the quill he had found in Hamish's treasure chamber into an inkwell. He frowned when the quill lifted, but no ink resided upon the tip. He placed his parchment aside and picked up the inkwell, tipping it slightly to peer inside. Out. Wonder if Johann has more. Toothless and Sharpshot shuffled off the slab of stone both slept on. Hiccup stood and turned. Sharpshot chittered and crawled to his usual spot upon Hiccup's back, his chin propped upon Hiccup's right shoulder. Hiccup felt his cheeks warm, remembering why Sharpshot chose the right shoulder. Still, the inevitable teasing from both him and his dragon brothers did little to quell the wondrous feeling Hiccup had when Astrid, upon hearing the reason, laid her head upon Hiccup's left shoulder as they rested after the midday meal 2 days after the celebration. They made it out of the house to find Astrid and Stormfly waiting at the bottom of the stone steps. Toothless chortled and warbled something that had Stormfly and Sharpshot chittering in with laughter. Hiccup glanced at Toothless with a lifted eyebrow. The Night Fury just gave a gummy smile and started down the hill in front of Hiccup's house. Hiccup turned right, but Sharpshot just chittered. Hiccup huffed, making his way down the stairs. His brothers could be as stubborn and close-lipped as he could when they wanted to be. This appeared to be one of those times. Hiccup reached the bottom of the steps, and Astrid slipped her right hand into his left one. Hiccup looked down and blinked. He looked back up. "Why?" he asked. Astrid frowned. "Why, what?" "Why do you always stand on my left side? You fight right-handed." "Holding my left hand means your right hand isn't free to grab your axe." Astrid tilted her head. "You fight left-handed, Hiccup. This also means you can't draw your sword," she said, glancing down at the seax Hiccup had forged last week and carried on his belt. "So why?" Hiccup asked again. Astrid smiled. "Our dragons will give us the time needed to draw our weapons, Hiccup. You write, draw, and forge your designs with your left hand as well as fight." She leaned over and whispered in his ear, "I like the calluses." Hiccup blinked, staring at her as if she had 2 heads when she leaned back. Astrid just smirked before placing a soft kiss to his cheek. Hiccup lunged forward as she moved back and brushed his lips across her own. He shifted slightly, gently moving Astrid as well, something she never fought him upon. Once he had both facing each other, he wrapped his free arm around her and pulled her closer. He then pressed his lips against her filly, and hummed when she returned the kiss with equal force. Keep that up and we'll be here when that human leaves the nest and comes back. Twice. Hiccup grunted as Astrid pulled back far enough that she could snicker. Hiccup looked over Astrid's shoulder at Stormfly, his brow furrowed. You've been hanging out with Toothless and Sharpshot too long, Stormfly, Hiccup said. Stormfly tilted her head and shuffled her wings. This tends to happen since my rider wishes to spend most, if not all, of her day with you, Alpha, she said, then curled her neck so she could wink at him. Hiccup huffed but stepped back. Astrid chuckled and squeezed his hand. Hiccup looked at her. Astrid smiled at him, and Hiccup found he could not stay annoyed any longer. He smiled back. Come on, he said. They started walking, Stormfly taking her usual position to Astrid's left, and Toothless ambled along Hiccup's right. At the docks, Sharpshot hopped off Hiccup's back, sitting upon Toothless's saddle. The dragons remained off Johann's ship, at the trader's request. Hiccup was grateful the request came in response to Hookfang accidentally knocking some item of Johann's into the water, and not because Johann hated or feared the dragons. Hiccup and Astrid, still holding hands, walked across the gangplank and onto the ship. Hiccup blinked. The ship seemed fuller than the last time Johann was in port. This did not seem to deter his father from swinging a sword around. Another sword, Dad? Hiccup asked. Not for me, son. I have to go and visit the Chief of Shivering Shores, and the last person who did not bring him a gift got their head taken off. Hiccup tilted his head. When do you leave? Today. Johann brought the request. I should be back in a week. While I'm gone, son, you're acting chief. Hiccup jerked. Dad? You usually let Gobber be acting chief. Stoick stopped examining the sword and stared at Hiccup. That was before, son. And it was something I should never have done when you reach this age. You will be chief one day. You need the experience now, when I can still let you take a crack at it. Stoick walked around various items and placed a hand upon Hiccup's left shoulder. You will be fine, son. Gopper and the council will be here to help you. Astrid squeezed Hiccup's hand. So will I and the other riders. Don't forget us and the elders, brother, Toothless called from the dock. Oh, my, Johann said, walking up. Is that dragon snarling at the chief? Does it not like you touching Master Hiccup? Toothless is fine, Stoick said. He likes to make noise. He doesn't want us forgetting he's there. Hiccup heard Toothless snort at the other dragons chittered. Johann looked up at the dragons for a long moment. Stoick tapped the sword pommel with a free knuckle. How much for the sword, Johann? Johann spun to face Stoick. Oh, chief, it is but your good graces that I desire when my humble ship makes port. Stoick laughed. You'll always be welcome on Berk shores. He looked over at Hiccup. I'm gonna ready my things. I'll find you before I leave, son. End of chapter. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that one. I love all the flirting. Astrid for life. Love it. And the fact that she likes his calluses, I mean, dang girl, tell him how you really feel. Anyway, you guys know the drill. Like, comment and subscribe and hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Have a good day, night, or whatever time zone you're in. Bye my guys, gals and non-binary pals. I'll see you in another video. Take care.